All right, everybody, welcome to Team Time. It is Monday, April 18th, 2022, and we are going to talk tonight about intrinsic validation and have a little fun playing in some listening skills. So be sure you know where your virtual hand is to raise because I'm going to be looking for volunteers. I'm living dangerously tonight. The only people lined up to speak are the EDs that we are celebrating at the beginning. So this is going to be a very participative and interactive session. So I'm looking, especially, let me just tee it up for those of you who have been through any of the Habit Finder materials and any of you who have been studying and practicing intrinsic validation. I'm going to look for you to contribute, not a lot, we have about 30 minutes, but interested in, if you feel compelled to share, then I think that may be a little intuitive hit that says, hey, there's someone that needs to hear this. So I'll be looking for some of you to share with us. But before we get started, our opening inspiration is two people on our team who have hit executive director. So kudos to you guys. We're going to hear from Emily McPherson and Bethany Smith. And I'm going to let Emily go ahead and go first. Emily, where are you? Come on off mute and tell us your story.
Hi.
Hello.
Off a timer so I don't go over.
Oh, you're fine.
So first of all, why I said yes. So I said yes really quickly. I think I was maybe 2 weeks into the program, and I think I had lost 15 pounds in like a very short amount of time. And I just felt like it was a secret that nobody had told me about, and I wanted to tell everyone. Because when I first met Meg, I was like, no way, I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to have any part of it. I just want to lose the weight and that's it. But then I was blown away. So that's why I said yes. The other question is sorry, I have a 4-year-old who likes to talk to me, is how I grew. So I think that my main thing that I would say is fast track to freedom. I did that. And I think that really got me out there a lot. And I also just, I kind of just listened to whatever Meg told me to do. And I just did it. I put on blinders and just said, okay, whatever you say. And then the freedoms I've gained. So I recently was able to pull back. I'm a realtor and this market is really hard. So this has given me the freedom to, shift my focus a little bit. While I still love doing that, this just kind of gives me another area where I can do things while the market is so crazy, because it's not fun at all. And then unless any of you want to sell your house, then I'm your girl. And then best tip wanting to grow, I would say, is really just putting on blinders and not thinking so much of what is going to happen when I get this. I just sort of try to help the next person, and I put them up on my whiteboard once I'm coaching them, and I just do it one person at a time. And then I don't really think about any of the other stuff. And I would say that's pretty much it.
That's awesome, Emily. Thank you for sharing. And we love your coworker.
Sure.
So cute.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, he's a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. A couple of things I heard that stood out. Freedom. I keep hearing that. I hear it from clients. Just today in a tips call, I heard a client talking about freedom and wanting just to feel free in her skin and feel comfortable. And coaching gives us that freedom. And then I just totally blanked on the other thing you said, but it's going to come back to me. So I'm going to let Bethany go next. Ooh, excuse me, you guys. I'm on cold medicine. All right, Bethany, go ahead. Tell us your story.
Okay. Hi, guys. So I've actually been coaching for about 2.5 years now. And I initially started coaching to pay for my kit, which I think a lot of us do. But my why has definitely changed over the course of these 2.5 years. And so I actually spoke on our dream team call the other night, and I had to write everything down because I don't remember everything I want to say. And so I really, if y'all are okay, I'm going to read what I wrote to share with them as well, because my journey has been different. It hasn't been the fast paced one. I know a lot of people have success very early on, and that's amazing. I was not that case. And so this is kind of an encouragement to everybody, but especially those that maybe this journey of getting to ED has taken a little bit longer. So here we go. So I'm super excited to get to ED, of course, but I honestly didn't think that I would get here. I wanted to get here, but I didn't have the belief that it would actually happen. So thank goodness that my coach and my entire team and my mentors did believe in me, and they encouraged me and challenged me to keep going. So for me, it's not really what I did do, but it's kind of what I didn't do. So I didn't stop coaching. Even when I had slow months and no motivation to continue, I still had clients. And even if it was just one client, I made sure that I was there for that one person. I didn't let my lack of motivation or my fear of getting out of my comfort zone stop me from continuing to share what helped me in hopes that it would help someone else. I didn't let the hard or negative clients cloud my vision. When I had a harder client, I did what I could with them, as everybody does. But I also reminded myself of the other amazing clients. And I shifted my attitude to focus on them. And that just helped a lot. Um, this was a huge one. I didn't let a rank dictate my attitude towards coaching. So don't get me wrong, I have focused on the rank in the past a little too much, and felt like a failure when I didn't meet a certain rank. But I finally changed my why for coaching and made it more about the people and being someone who is in their corner no matter what. Um, and I didn't stop people from helping me. So my coach and this whole team, including you guys, are here for a reason. So you're here to support us and encourage us in this coaching journey, and letting them help us and help me, even when I had low days. So letting them see me in my high and my low days, was a huge reason that I achieved this goal. So my advice for anyone who has the goal of becoming ED or higher, is to be patient, accept help, and don't compare your coaching journey to anyone else's. Like I said, I've been coaching for about 2.5 years now and just now reached ED. But I have grown so much in those 2 years, and I know that I needed that time to really gain the right mindset and perspective as a coach. So just be patient. And if you really want this, then keep going and it will come.
Oh, Bethany, thank you for sharing that. That was really great. And the thing that stood out, you kept saying, I didn't stop, I didn't stop, I didn't stop. And you're right. It's not everything happens in the right timing, whatever that right timing is for you. And I love that you leaned into your coach's belief in you, even when you didn't believe in yourself, because I think that's the hardest thing. We get up in our heads and we tell ourselves stories and we don't believe in ourselves. And sometimes we even look at other people who believe in us and say, oh, come on, right? What about, but leaning into that and really sort of embracing it, that's beautiful, beautiful that you did not stop. And Emily, I remembered what you said, and you said, I just block out everything when I'm working with those clients. And that was impactful to me too, because that's also what we're going to talk about tonight. So you would think I'd have remembered it, but Beth Bilton's comment actually helped me remember it. So thank you both for sharing. And again, kudos to you for reaching executive director, our first leadership rank, and it opens up a new world for you of some additional training possibilities and the ability to attend events and things that are for that ED rank and higher. So congratulations again, ladies. All right, so let's shift and talk about intrinsic validation. So intrinsic validation, just by show of hands, how many of you have heard of this concept, intrinsic validation? Seeing quite a few hands. Yeah, it's a process. It's a process that we use to connect with people at a deeper level. This is how we create trust and build relationships. And we all know that in Optavia, we are in a relationship business. And the tool of the process of intrinsic validation helps us in that relationship to move people to a point of clarity or a decision. So this is an excellent tool, and many of you may have heard me say all of our coaching tools can be used with everyone to improve our relationships in every area of our lives. We can use it with family, with coworkers, with people who lead you, with people you lead, at appointments, during coaching conversations, when you're giving or receiving feedback. It's really a communication tool. And if you use it effectively, you'll get great results in every area of your life, and your business will improve by leaps and bounds if that's what you want it to do. You can really transform your business and take it to the next level. So the most simple definition, in those of you who've heard of this, is stepping into someone's world. So here's what we know. We know that everyone has a wall of resistance, and most people aren't even aware that that wall is there. And behind that wall is a big reserve of cooperation and energy. It's just waiting to be released. But with the wall up, you can't access that or really connect with that person until the wall has been addressed or taken down. And here's the important thing. And for those of us, we all hold back from everyone. And with the people that we trust and love, we still hold back about 40% of what's in there. So imagine when you're working with people that you want to convert to clients or coaches, they're holding back more than 40% if they don't really know you or trust you. So intrinsic validation is really helping people release that wall. And there are 5 steps to intrinsic validation. I'm going to just share a slide with you. And step 1 is notice others and discover what's important to them. So notice others and discover what's important to them. And I'll bring this back up for each of the individual steps. This is where we're going to notice people. It takes focused effort to do this, to notice other people, to look for what's important to them. And the thing to know here is if you have an agenda or you have any dialogue of self-sabotage going on, it's really difficult to notice other people. And it takes a higher level of awareness to verbalize what you notice. And within this step, we're really looking for the good in other people. And so here's what I'd ask you. How intentional are you in looking for great qualities all the time? And how good are you at telling people those things outwardly? So think about that for a minute. I'd love to hear from those of you who practice intrinsic validation. Anybody, just go ahead and come off mute and tell us how this step has made a difference for you in your interactions with clients or prospects. I can call on people too.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Lynette.
Hey, Lynette.
I was working with a client recently, and after, we talked, and I listened to him and, asked him questions to tell me more. And then he signed up. But when I had my coach call with Frank a couple of weeks later, my tips call to bring Sean on, the one thing he said that just pierced my heart is he said, Lynette spoke right to my heart. Yes. So when you get that feedback that you've done it and it worked, it's very empowering.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Lynette. And the way we speak to someone's heart is to recognize their heart and see it. And we talk about recognizing and seeing it, but we don't really talk sort of tactically about how we do that. So intrinsic validation kind of gives us language, and it gives us a tactical approach to it. So really, really think about this piece. This is a critical piece in recognizing others, and you want to pay attention to this. So, and the important thing in this is, if your subconscious thoughts when you meet someone are focused on you in any way, that's going to come through. If your thoughts are focused on you in that moment instead of on the other person, it's going to come through. So we have to sort of step out of our baggage when we're in those interactions with other people. We have to sort of say, well, we have to stop saying things like, okay, who says this? If you think about someone, oh, that person probably thinks what I'm offering isn't serious enough, or I don't want to be pushy or salesy. Drop a 1 in the chat if any of these are resonating with you. Or, that person will never buy from me. Or I really don't have anything to offer when you're thinking about coaching or the program. So if these are your real thoughts, that's going to come through no matter how hard we try to push them back. Or if you have a hidden agenda to get something from someone, subconsciously you start to see people as prey. And when this happens, you'll instantly repel them. So really, like I said, if any of your thoughts are focused on you in that moment instead of on the other person, it comes across to that person on a subconscious level, and they just won't want to work for you. So here's the question and the challenge, right? Yes, Beth, and prejudging people. Exactly. That's kind of what you're doing, prejudging people. Oh, they won't want this. They don't want to work with me, right? So the challenge for you is, can you step out of your insecurities and doubts and show up for the person in front of you without any thoughts about you? Can you be there for them and not for you? So think about that. And I know there are coaches in this virtual room who have focused on that and who have seen the results. So I would love to hear from someone who has been in an interaction where they have intentionally pulled themselves and their doubts and fears out of it and focused on the person in front of them. I'd love to hear the impact of that.
This is Monica. So I went through the Habit Finder, and I thought this was such an excellent tool because honestly, I think that the very first step is just connecting with that person. So many people really crave like companionship and friendship and warmth. We don't live in a society where that is freely given at this point. So I think that even before I know if they want to be on the plan or not, I try to make that a habit to really connect with people, whether it's on social media, or I actually have that as one of my habits I do every day. I try to make sure that I find 2 to 3 people that I comment always something positive, whether I know them personally or not. And I always try to find something that I can connect with a person. And sometimes people will rebuff you, but 99% of people really want that human interaction and that connection, and it's building that relationship. And if that relationship doesn't take you to a client coach relationship, you still have made a new friend and made a connection and made the world a better place. So if you think about it like that and not be thinking about your business, just how can I connect with people, the rest kind of just comes. That's what I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing that, Monica. And it really is, I know you're all sitting out there going, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? It takes intentionality and it takes effort and it takes practice. This isn't something that's normal or natural for us necessarily. It just takes intentionality and practice and kind of continuing, like Bethany said, do not stop, do not stop. So I'd love to, and Beth Bilton, you're like my little plant in there. You shared step number 2, be safe, listen to understand. So I would love now to have a volunteer to play with me in it. What we're going to do is demonstrate some listening skills. And all you have to do is tell me about something you're excited about or passionate about. And I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different listening skills. So who's my volunteer to just play in this space with me for a couple of minutes? Just maybe somebody who hasn't spoken on a call before, or you've been hiding in the wings, looking for a hand. Got a lot of screens here. Oh, Bonnie, I see your hand up. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Come on off mute. So technical term here, I'm going to demonstrate. Actually, I'll give you the types of listening after I tell you about them. So Bonnie, what I'd like you to do is just share something exciting, something that you're excited about with me, just for 15 or 20 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary, and I'm taking a full week and going to North Carolina with my husband.
Bonnie, me too. I'm going to I don't have an anniversary, but I'm going to North Carolina this weekend. Isn't that awesome? I'm going there too. That's so cool. Okay,
Yeah,
what happened there? No, hold on, Bonnie. We're gonna continue in just a minute, but I want to just ask for a couple people to just mention in the chat what just happened there. What do I see? Did I listen to understand? I took over the conversation. Gina Manley, I never do that. Otherwise, I stole her thunder. I played the Me Too game. Totally played that. I made it about me. Me too, me too, me too. Which, by the way, has its place, but not when you're trying to intrinsically validate someone, right? So this is called subjective listening. This means as a listener, I'm only hearing what people are saying as it relates to me. It's all about me. I'm not actually hearing them, and I'm not really listening at all. So no real communication happens here. Okay, so Bonnie, now I'd like you to go on and continue to tell me about your anniversary and your trip that's coming up.
Well, we're staying at a very nice hotel downtown, and we're going to go to the Monet exhibit at the Biltmore Estates and see a lot of friends and just cool my jets.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie. Gosh, so what I hear you saying is you're going to have a great time at the Biltmore celebrating your anniversary. Good for you.
Thanks.
Okay, so stick with me because we've got one more. All right, so what did you notice in that interaction? Again, just in the chat, if you don't mind. Mirroring, Debbie, that's a great term. Yeah. Tell me, Debbie, come off mute. Tell me what that means.
Okay, for me, it kind of just means restating what they said, kind of just lets them know that you actually heard what they said.
Yeah. Yeah, but hokey, come on, not hokey.
Not
So
hokey.
again, some of these seem, again, we have to practice it, right? I heard what she said and repeated it back to her. So this is really, I'm just hearing what she said. I'm not putting myself or my opinions in her response. This is where those coaching conversation begins. This is where those deeper relational interactions begin. Okay, Bonnie, I'm going to have you keep going, keep talking about more about this special event in your life.
So I'm curious because you said you've been to Asheville. What did you do there that you really liked?
Okay, Bonnie, you're not coaching me.
No, well,
in order to have this demo successful, I need you to just keep talking. Tell me more about what you're doing.
okay, so let's see. I'm also excited because I'm going to drive to Boone and see my coach and her coach and her coach, and it should be pretty exciting.
Oh, Bonnie, that sounds great. What's exciting to you about seeing your coach?
Well, you know, it's much more real than just on a FaceTime on my phone. That you know, we can be there together and have a nice lean green meal.
So Bonnie, what I hear you saying, it sounds like it's really important for you to have that deeper, more intimate connection with your coach and also share a meal. And that's more important to you than the other interactions that you've had.
Yeah, I think that's true. And just to hug.
Awesome. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you for playing with me in this demo. Okay, everybody. So what did you hear in that last interaction? Candy, coach the who and not the what. Yeah, Candy, if you come off mute and tell us what that means to you, coaching the who and not the what. You knew I was going to ask you to do that.
I knew it. As soon as I wrote it in there, I'm all, So coaching to the who, you were digging to what it meant to her, what the experience has meant to her, and not necessarily just the one you did before was talking to the experiences, you know, and reflecting back what the experiences are. But here you dug to what made it important to her and what was meaningful about it to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Candy. Yeah, so that's called intuitive listening. And so that's really, that's taking it a little bit deeper, a level deeper. I heard what she was saying, and I tried to pick up on some cues from her. And you notice she said, yeah, you know, that's right. That is the way it is. Don't be afraid if somebody says, oh no, that's not it at all. Don't be afraid to lean into an intuitive hit and just check it out with the person that you're talking to, because they'll tell you whether or not it's accurate. And if it's not, you just keep moving on. Either way, you're in the conversation with them, you're picking up on their cues and you're pulling from what they're saying to you. So that's creating that deeper, more meaningful relationship. So just kind of.
So another name for this is active listening.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we listen to understand, we're safe. And when we're safe, we make those connections of trust and loyalty. And so, and 5 magic words that you can never go wrong with when you're listening to people. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Be ready to say that, and you can keep saying that. And again, that might feel or sound contrived, but the person's not worried about what you're saying to them. If you're saying, tell me more, and you're leaning in and you're listening, they're going to keep talking. So create that safe place. So the third one is kind of similar to the second one, the steps of intrinsic validation. And it is create that safe place and demonstrate understanding. So this is really sort of a continuation of that second step. This is where you're going to ask some empathetic, open-ended questions. And if none really come to you, just kind of go back to step 2 and keep listening. And remember, tell me more about that is a good one. The Coaching Habit is a book we've talked about on this call before. And it's also a great one to pick up some open-ended, empathetic questions. And then that wall comes down and you've created a safe space. So step 4, then you evaluate that new moment of decision where you're going to assess timing and value. So no, you guys, I'm really zipping through these, right? Because we have not a lot of time, but I want you to just get the gist of all of them, and you have opportunities to dig more deeply into this with the Habit Finder material. So step 4 is really about trusting your intuition. And now what do you do next? You're at a point of decision, a moment that's really important in that connection process. So here's where you decide if understanding is enough. Here's where you ask yourself, did this person just need to talk? Did they just need to vent and let something out? And ask yourself, does this person need something that I have to offer? Maybe an idea, a suggestion, a recommendation, a product, or a service. Could it bring value to them? And if so, is this the best time to bring this? Are they really ready and willing and able to listen to me right now? So really quickly, I'd love to hear from somebody who either experienced going in for that moment of decision where somebody was ready and willing to listen, or if you experienced the opposite, where you went in for that moment of decision and they weren't really ready and the wall went back up. Does anybody have a quick example of that, of one or the other? Diane Nix, I know you have an example.
Yeah, just got off a call just right before this one. And it was a Coach Explorer, and was following up with where she was at with that. And she went into telling me about her second mom, who was real close to her and was 90 years old, just passed on Good Friday. And so it was all about her, and I was all about where she was at, how she was feeling, what she was going through. And I was just trying to be there for her. So I just dropped everything else to be there for her.
Yeah, that's a great example, Diane. Great example of that moment of decision. And it really is critical. And it's important to recognize that, right? And I think sometimes, again, if we're caught up and we're excited, we're interested in having that client, and sometimes we do care about them and we know that we have what will help them. We know that the coaching opportunity is great. We know that becoming a client will change their lives. And at the same time, we have to be willing to step back and listen and be in their world and validate them and meet them where they are. So the last step of the process now is gain agreement and invite them into your world. So very quickly, this is the point at which, so this is when we have engaged fully in intrinsic validation, and when our only intention is to connect and serve and create value in that person's life. Then we share with great confidence because the other person has confidence in us. That's when we can be bold and persuasive and take a stand for this person because they trust our intentions and know that they are pure and good. And we can inspire them and breathe life and belief into them because at this point, they're open to it and they trust us. So just, if you have any reactions to this, I know we've got about a minute left. I'd love to see in the chat those of you who this is resonating with or who's had experience with this. really, if you think about clients that you have, creating that trust. And when you have had clients or coaches on your team for a long period of time, the more you engage in this process of intrinsic validation, the more you can get into someone's world, the more trust you can create, the more success you're all going to have, because we rise by lifting others, truly. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for playing tonight. Thanks for sharing and being involved and filling up this 30 minutes with us and playing with me and having nobody ready to speak. So maybe we'll try more of this in the future. So get ready, get your volunteer hands ready. Have a great Monday evening, everybody. And thanks for coming in.